Black holes aren't what we think. Part 3. I have become incredibly determined to solve this thing. Maybe that's the destiny the shadow was referring to. Maybe I am destined to solve the mystery of the black hole. I don't know. I mean, seriously, I'm just a stoner, so I really don't understand how I can be the righteous one. Is solving this simple but complicated question righteous? I'm sorry for rambling, I'm just trying to clear my head a little from all this crazy shit. Anyways, once I was able to recover from the encounter, I tried to get Derek to his feet, with no luck. I had no choice but to call his parents, who started to chew me out the moment they saw their son. I couldn't just leave him there like that, so I had to take a little heat from his parents. I obviously couldn't say what happened because they would have had me in an asylum in a heartbeat, so I came up with a story that he took some acid from a shady dealer and had had a bad trip. They proceeded to chew me out some more and even threatened to call the police, but Derek's dad started to de-escalate the situation, to my surprise. He looked at his son and said, "Look, Carter, as much as I want to punch you in the face while sending you and myself to jail, ultimately this was Derek's choice." Derek's mom started to protest, but the dad held up a finger. "Honey, I know you're pissed. So am I. But we can't take out our anger on this kid because our son made the wrong choice. Teenagers are naturally irresponsible." Derek's mom was still obviously pissed, but she respected her husband's words. She sighed and slightly nodded, avoiding eye contact with me. Derek's dad then looked me in the eyes intensely and said, "Don't think this means you're off the hook, Carter. If my son isn't normal by morning, you'll wish I punched you. You better hope it's just a bad trip. He was your friend, Carter. You should have at least tried to stop him from taking it. I'm disappointed in you." Even though it was Derek's dad, it still hit hard. Heck, both of Derek's parents were like my own at times. I spent many days of my childhood over at Derek's house having sleepovers and eating dinner with them. In a way, I looked up to Derek's parents like an aunt and uncle, like family. So hearing those words hurt, knowing what really happened. I guess I have to sacrifice a little bit of my reputation for now until I can find some hard evidence to explain myself with. Lying wasn't the way I wanted to go, but I didn't see another way out of it. I tried to apologize, but they just walked away, the dad picking up Derek and presumably taking him to the hospital. I have to put my feelings aside for now if I really want to save my friends. I need to figure out what and why this happened to James and how it involved Derek, Johnny, and I. Speaking of Johnny, I don't even know if he's alive. He was gone after the flash, and I highly doubt that anyone was going to be looking for him. Before you think I'm an ass, let me explain myself. Johnny has always been the enigma of our group. None of us has ever seen any of his family before, and we have learned over the years not to ask him about it. We started to assume he was adopted, because since as far back as I can remember, I had never seen his family or guardians before. He would always have the freedom to go out and do whatever, and he never seemed to have a curfew. Wasn't as bad as it sounds, though. He wasn't the only kid with loose parents. As for his parents, all that meant to us is that one less of set of parents to worry about. Johnny always said that we were his family to him. I have to find him. I can't just lose all of my childhood friends like that. I made my way to James's house once I knew Derek's parents were gone. I pulled up to a small, one-story house that was in a secluded neighborhood on the end of a cul-de-sac. I was saddened to see our ultimate man cave looking so dilapidated and sketchy looking. The sketchiness was enhanced with the slow darkening evening sky. It hasn't even been half a year yet and it looked abandoned already. Police tape condemning the house. They stopped looking for clues after a damn week into James's disappearance. I never had any hope in my local PD anyways. From the beginning, they just wanted to write it off as a runaway, and it was James's family who kept pressing the issue. I started to look around the house for an entry point once I knew I wasn't going to be spotted. The front of the house was a no-go, so I made my way to the back, climbing over a 6-foot chain link fence and almost rolling my ankle in the process. After another thorough scan for entry, I finally found a loose window that gave way after a few tugs and one quick upwards thrust. I crawled inside and cursed my clumsiness once again as I lost my footing, trying to reach into the pitch-black room. Something broke from the weight of my foot, and I flew into the room, hitting my head on something hard. Once I was able to stand up, I fished out my phone and turned on the flashlight. I know I should have done that earlier, but sometimes I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, and I was trying to be discreet outside. Once the light illuminated the room, I instantly figured out how I fell. I ended up breaking into the bathroom and I broke the towel rack by putting my foot on it for support and smacked my head on the side of the toilet on the way down. Not really knowing what to look for, I walked out of the bathroom and through the living room while lightly rubbing the now slowly developing bump on my head. I was just happy I didn't crack my head open. Damn. These cops just trashed James's place looking for clues, and it seemed like they had a little fun doing so because it looked more like a raid rather than an investigation. I walked over smashed plates and broken chairs and made my way to James's room. It was messy, but not as bad as the rest of the house at least. Either the cops were sloppy, or we were extra cunning because in less than 1 minute I was sitting there with our community's stash of weed, our hidden bong, Danky, and a Bic lighter I still had in my pocket. Yeah, we named our bong Danky, and yes, this is the time for a bong rip. I know you probably think I'm a stupid person, but honestly, fuck it. Distress now and yell at me later. I need THC to calm my nerves right now, and I was lucky enough to remember about the stash. After I took about 3 rips, I was high and went to pull all the paraphernalia away when I noticed a small shape in the corner of the stash spot. I reached in and pulled out a small, black, leather-bound journal. Now this is what I was looking for. I opened up the journal and I looked at the first few pages, and they were covered in nothing but swirls and black circles and scribbles. I kept paging through until I noticed the pages becoming legible for once. The page I read went like this. Messier and messier. This gets the more I try to understand. Look to the skies and open your eyes. Why did I have to be the only one to see it? If you're a Virgo, you might understand. Astrological to astronomical. Trillions of stars can make infinite constellations. Infinite like a figure 8. Over and over again, and it never ends. Where is hell and where is heaven? For in space there is no descent or ascension. I might be onto something. I need my lucky number 7. We aren't alone on this floating rock. I will prove everyone wrong. The next page was a sketch of the shadow that was so detailed it gave me a headache. I was about to read the next page when I heard a sound from the outside towards the open window. I put the journal in my pants, scared to lose the only evidence I have by simply having it fall out of my pocket, and tried to sneak out a different way. There was no way to really move around without making some type of noise. I really didn't want to explain myself if it was a cop or one of James's parents. The decision was made for me to my horror as I heard a voice call out to me. Carter Lux. How this random person knew my name, I wish I knew. I just stayed silent and hoped the guy might just leave. Another stupid thought for me, I know. Then a female voice called out this time. Carter, come out. We need to leave before the police come. This is your only chance we are giving you. This was starting to sound like a horror movie unfolding in real life. First supernatural beings and now all-knowing people. Why should I trust you? I said to the 2 unknown voices. I heard a small laugh, and then heard, because we knew you were here this whole time and decided to let our presence known, and I just tipped you off that the police are on their way to this location as we speak. The lady did have a point. Alright, I'm walking out, but then you both need to start explaining what the fuck is going on. Deal? "That's why we're here, buddy," the male voice said in a smug tone. I made my way to the window to see two figures in identical black and white suits staring back at me. Sunglasses on, even though it was nighttime by this point. Fuck. I really don't have another choice but to go along with them right now. Wish me luck. Hello all. This is Magnetar. I wanted to say thank you to all the folks that commented and emailed in response to my questions I asked in one of my previous videos regarding story recommendations and just general comments and feedback about how the channel is going, my narrations, and so on. Thank you so much. I also wanted to shout out to the two people that donated to me on Ko-Fi. I'm not going to say their names, and I'm not going to say how much they donated, but regardless of how much it was very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am leaving for the weekend, going out of state actually to Florida to visit my father. Don't worry, I've already been vaccinated and we will be social distancing, so on and so forth. For those that don't know, I've actually already had COVID twice before. Once back March 2020 and again January or February of this year. Not saying that I've had it before, so it's no big deal. It was a very big deal. And while I wasn't hospitalized, my first time I probably should have been. This is just to say that I'll be gone this weekend, and after today I probably won't have any more narrations uploaded until I return on possibly Tuesday. So please bear with me and be patient. I'm going to have this video and another video come up earlier tonight. And maybe schedule one for Friday as well to hold you guys over. And then I'll be returning after the weekend. Thank you all. If this is your first time coming here, or you still have not subscribed and joined us in the void, I encourage you to do so. I continue to share unique sci-fi stories like this one, and many others that other narrators haven't already narrated to death. So if you're interested in keeping up with those stories, please subscribe. But remember, Astrophobes be warned.